It's fun to play villains because they're complicated people, and they're you love to hate them, and it's really they're usually very interesting characters to play. I've never played one in real life. I'd like to, but I've enjoyed playing Miss Grunion. She's deliciously evil. Mr. Peabody is the genius dog, and he adopts a young boy, Sherman, and he being a genius. He is able to create a time machine where he's able to take Sherman and travel through all different times in the world, different ages, and teach him and show him what actually happened in history. He thinks he doesn't like her, but he actually has a big crush on her. And the one thing he's not supposed to do is show her the Wayback Machine, the time machine. And he just can't. She says one too many mean things to him, and he decides he's got to impress this girl. So he shows her the Wayback Machine, and they take an unscheduled, unauthorized trip back in time, and they get into quite a lot of trouble. Ty Burrell is incredibly warm and funny and like I don't know. I believe he does have kids, but you just know that he's a great father. So you hear that voice coming out of Mr. Peabody, you just immediately fall in love with him because and even if you didn't know it was Ty Burrell, he just has a kind, quirky quality that's perfect for Mr. Peabody. Yes, Mr. Peabody's incredibly he's kind of, you love him in spite of, you just want him to just sort of let go of his he thinks so much and you just want him to, he kind of hides behind his brain. He's got so much brain power, and I think he uses that to distance himself from people a little bit. He sort of knows it sort of sets him apart from people because he's just smarter than anybody else in the room, and yet no one knows he doesn't know how to relate to people on a just a regular, natural human level. And that's what Sherman, does for him. He's able to say "I love you," like something I don't think he's ever said before, which is a lovely part in the story where he actually says something very sweet and tender and from the heart, because he hides behind his intelligence, I think. Yes, absolutely. Sherman, it forces him to be less rigid and open up. Sherman doesn't know how to relate to anyone other than that way, so he's the best thing that could have happened to Mr. Peabody. And vice versa, I think. They both do wonderful things for each other. Max Charles was lovely as Sherman. He had that just wonderful innocence and excitement and just wide-eyed quality about his performance that was perfect for Sherman. It was a perfect marriage of the animation and the boy. The voice was just had the excitement, and he's just an excited, eager boy who wants to learn everything and is a sponge. People should go see Mr. Peabody and Sherman because it's a lovely movie to take your family to. There's a sweet story, a lovely relationship, and between a dog and a boy, and there's so many appealing elements to this movie, and also because of all the different historical references, which the parents will relate to and know and be glad their kids are kind of getting their first peek at history, what happened in the world. Yeah, I think there is a message in Mr. Peabody about tolerance and acceptance of different kinds of families and what constitutes a family and who has a right to call themselves a family. I think it's I think the message is, as long as there is love, even in this case between a boy and a dog is the father, that let it be. Let them be father and son. They were both lost and found each other, and it's a lovely story about that.